Peace and blessings, everybody. I am back again today. Oddly enough, I'm gonna keep pushing through. Um, First, I just want to say that I'm grateful to the universe for sending confirmation after confirmation my way. Every time I am feeling unsure, and I remind myself of the why, and you know, I just get something. Something comes to me, and it's amazing. It's definitely amazing. Yesterday, I had thought about talking about the ego because I had a really interesting thought about the ego, and I was like, oh, I don't know if that's what I want to talk about. Is that something that's really resonating with me? And then today, shout out my girl, my sister girl, my Philly girl, Shakina, because she just confirmed it. She sent me a message via Marco Polo, and she talked about the ego, and I was like, wow, that's crazy because that's something I had been really contemplating on and just meditating on it. So I know that the ego gets a bad rap, and you know, it, people like, oh, you got a terrible ego. Oh, this person's ego is inflated. You know, the ego gets a bad rap, and I almost feel like that's part of the reason why we can't control the ego because we feed it, negativity. The whole ego, we feed it negativity. We speak of it in a very ill manner. I don't know when I've ever heard somebody other than Beyonce sing about the ego being a good thing. And then maybe I just don't know. Maybe I'm missing some things, and I'm completely open to that. I might not have been tuned in that direction to see where egos have been used positively. I'm okay with that. Um, but as far as, I really hear, the ego does get a bad rap. And yes, I think that it's just like anything else, it can be used in a lot of different ways. Uh, because if you think about it, your ego usually causes you to be defensive, right? But, you know, the basis of a lot of things that I talk about is related to trauma and pain. And if the ego had endured years and years of trauma and pain or disregard or attack because of other people's, their burdens, their quote unquote sins, then why wouldn't a person be defensive? Like, if somebody's always attacking them, why wouldn't they be defensive? Because will somebody really attack you if you come to them like genuinely loving? I don't think so. That's never been my impression or my experience. I've never acted out of love and didn't receive love in return. And I think that's important. So if we're raising people in chaos and conducting our homes as war zones and condemning each other and shaming each other and just justifying terrible ways to treat each other and normalize it, that's really what deteriorates our communities and perpetuates, the social ills that people blatantly associate with us. None of that stuff is true. That's not who we are as a people. It's just not. So, after enduring everything that we've been through and continue to go through on a daily basis, how can we agree to stop being defensive and embrace the concept of being loving and trying it? And yeah, of course, it's going to challenge you. I felt afraid of that process. I felt afraid of it. I was like, Dad, what if I say something nice and she don't say, she's, and I'm like, why do I keep thinking that? Why do I keep anticipating a terrible outcome? And I say, that's my ego. My ego is anticipating a terrible outcome. Why is my ego anticipating a terrible outcome? Because my previous experiences dictate that I'm going to have a negative outcome. Interesting. At one point, it served as a protection. At one point, it served to preserve me as a person, and I have to respect that. And I feel like the only way that I am going to use my ego for good, in the sense that I still have the energy, I'm just not using it to defend myself. The only way that I can ever do that is if I pay honor to it and thank it for its services over these past 39 years. But you don't have to serve that purpose anymore. I don't need those defenses. I'm safe. I'm healed. I'm whole. It's okay. I'll live through being uncomfortable. If that means that I have to challenge a part of myself, I'll live through that. I think I'm going to survive. And I really, like I said, I just want to make sure that I give the most gracious and sincere and humble, just like gratitude to my family, the people closest to me, because they have taught me so much about myself, and they've given me so much direction and purpose just by them being in my lives. When I was younger, I was really directionless. And, then I got pregnant at 19 with my oldest son and delivered him at 20. And I was like completely like, holy moly, wow, this is very interesting. But at no point did I ever feel like I wasn't up to the challenge. Like, I never felt like I can't do this. you know I mean, no, that's a lie. That's a complete lie. That is not true. What I'm saying is, when I had him, that was not my initial response. When I had him, that was not my initial response. I jumped into to go mode to make things happen. There were times where I was just like, I have no idea what I am doing. Like, I literally don't know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But I tried to make the best out of it. I tried to do the best I could with what I had. And when I was able to honor that part of myself, I was able to forgive my mom for whatever perceived ills I may have had about my childhood. I was able to forgive her because I'm like, dag, this is really hard. This is really tough, especially when you have an internal conflict about how your spirit feels as though things should be done and how you're actually doing. You know what I mean? That's the extra layer to it, that you are already struggling with what you're doing because you go back and forth, you try something because none of that stuff is really working. None of that stuff is really working. Not hollering, not screaming, none of that stuff. All of them negatives. None of them. That stuff did not work. And my family, again, their presence in my life, being challenged by certain situations between us and between each other, and just like really sitting back, peeping the dynamics of things, and feeling my way through it and being empathetic about what each person might be feeling. Like, it wasn't until I stepped out of myself to think about what they might feel. And like I said the last time, it was really frightening. Like I was like, OMG. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just start by trying to change things my own self. I'll just see if I can do stuff differently. And that was getting some results. It was, you know what I mean? But it wasn't until I basically kicked the door open on honesty and was just like, let's just put this all on the table, everybody. Let's just talk it out. Let's just be honest. Let's just love each other. Like, let's just work on forgiving each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who was driving my vehicle this whole time, was my ego. Thank you, ego, so much. I appreciate it, but your services are no longer needed. I am whole. I'm happy. I am well. I am safe. Everything is well. And, I really just, I really know that this is going to work. I do. And that's why I'm sharing. I know it's going to work. It's going to work. I don't have a choice but to grow. Especially now that I know what it takes. And that's loving myself. And loving myself enough to love other people. And loving myself enough to be courageous. And loving myself to accept whatever it is I'm supposed to do in life, that's what I'm going to follow. I trust. I believe. And this is just one of the many areas in my life that I'm working on. I want to use my energy to change things in my family, in my own life first, because I have to change my own reality if I'm going to help my family grow in areas where we might have struggled before. But again, I'm up to the challenge. I don't even anticipate having days where I'm going to feel like I'm not equipped to do it, because I see time and time again, every time I jump, I am safe. Every time I'm like, I'm going to try this, I'm safe. I'm safe. I don't even know why I have to go through that experience of like, can I do it? Ooh. You know what I'm saying? I recently had a gratitude gathering. My whole family pulled together and pulled it off at the last minute. Everybody chipped in. It was lovely. It was magic. It really was. But I'm in the kitchen cooking, and I'm making macaroni and cheese. And everybody knows that macaroni and cheese is like, you can get stoned, like literally, if your macaroni and cheese sucks. So like the pressure is on. I'm just like, oh God. And even though I'm in the supermarket laughing, thinking about the meme I saw about, you shake the seasonings on there until the ancestors tell you enough, my child. So I'm joking about that to myself. And then I get home, like I said, I'm actually making it. And I'm just like, I don't want to kill anybody with all this cheese. I don't want to, oh God, I need this to be good. I need this to be right. And I don't normally use like a recipe. I mean, I know core ingredients, but I'm not like 1 cup of this, you know. I really just be, feeling my way through it. And I make this macaroni and cheese and I put it in the oven. I'm just like, I actually was like praying over my food, like, please, I just need this to be good. This needs to be delicious, because I really love the people that I'm inviting. I love them, and I really want them to enjoy this food. And when I tell you that's the best macaroni and cheese I ever made. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm telling you, one of my guests actually said, this is the best macaroni and cheese I ever had in my life. I'm like, wow, I am like completely honored. I really am. And, the macaroni and cheese was the first to go. So I say that to say that I had to really talk myself through it when I was like, ooh, like, no, Sabrina, come on, you did this. Come on. Trust that the love you feel is going to be in this food. Trust it. Like, why are you even tripping? And then I'm like, oh, my house is small. I'm like talking myself, I'm about to talk myself out of it. See, I'm about to talk myself out of a magical happening, a golden moment in my Will Williams voice. I'm about to talk myself out of a golden moment because of fear. Fear people are gonna judge me. Fear this and that. That was my knee crack, just in case you heard that. But fear of everything. Oh, they're gonna judge. Uh, uh. Stop it, Sabrina. Have several seats. I mean, don't sit down because people really are coming. But tell that fear to have a seat, please. Put fear at the kiddie table. I'm sorry. And no disrespect to children. I just say that because we all been there. That was wrong. Like, you cannot sit at this table with us. We're going to curse. I'm just saying. But fear has to go someplace. I don't have time for that. I don't. And when I tell you that the gratitude gathering was the dopest, when I say family, I'm telling you, it was so dope that people, that my human brain may not have even remembered to invite, because we did it at such the last minute. We like, it's Friday. Let's do it on Saturday. I really set myself up, but it was great. So, but I was just like, even the people who weren't there were still there in spirit. It felt like family. It felt like familiar. All of those. It just felt like love and unity and peace. And everything went wonderfully. Everybody just were like, oh, we're okay. I'm like, y'all okay? I'm like, I'm not up there yet, but trust me, when I get these dollars up, these dollars is coming. When the check is in the mail, okay? When I get we all coming up. I'm not even playing. I want a movement. Anything less than a movement is uncivilized. I'm serious. I'm ready for a movement. I'm ready for us to embrace who we are and roll with it. Forgive and move on, however that looks like. Now, that's why I'm not like, funny enough, Will says to me that he thinks that he would like really call me an inspirational speaker. And I agree, I do. Because I don't feel like my job is to tell people what to do. It's to say it can be done. It can be done. It 100% can be done. And anybody in life who ever said that it can't, were hurt, and you have to forgive them. They're sorry. They don't know they're sorry, but forgive them anyway. That's for you. That's the gift that you can give to yourself, is forgive the other person who hurt you so you can move on. It can be done. I am unapologetically hopeful. Unapologetically. We are not who people say we are. We don't have to be defensive with each other anymore. We don't have those very, very horrendous conditions in which we would have to treat each other that way in order for survival. We don't have to do that anymore. I know that our bodies have been freed from slavery for a very long time, but unfortunately, our spirit is still kind of under arrest, literally and figuratively under arrest. Unity is the only way. Love is the only way. That's just it. So, on that note, just to wrap things up, I peacefully released the services of my ego to be defensive, to hurt people, to react to my own trauma and my own pain. I forgive the people who caused me pain, and I humbly ask for apologies from those who I may have inflicted pain upon when I was hurting. I am fully committed to loving people and being the love and the change that I want to see in the world. I'm committed to it. And I'm going to continue pushing for it. I'm going to continue trying to change the dynamics in my own family. First, of course, in myself and in my own family. And, like I said, my heart is actually beating out of my chest right now. But if anybody else out there is interested in at least a discussion, at least just talking about it, what do we want to do here, people? How can we address the things that are hurting us? How can we heal ourselves from this trauma? What can we do to help each other? You help another person, you help yourself. You help yourself, you help another person. We're all connected. I think if anybody else is interested in like really doing some work, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. It's high time that we heal and move and grow and expand and just embrace who we are as humans, as human beings, for crying out loud. Like, we're a human race, we're a bunch of spirits having a human experience. Why can't we see that? Why can't we see that? Especially when you look across every culture. Every culture has a point of suffering. And for what? And we suffer and we inflict pain, and we suffer and we inflict pain, and over and over and over and over. The cycle is just, I'm tired of it already. I'm tired of it already. And you'll be able to even see that it's not a personal problem because you can see your pain in other people. Have you ever shared your story with anybody? And they were like, girl, me too. What? That happened in your family too? The more I open up and share the things that happened to me, the more I realize that this is not a Sabrina problem. This is not like, oh, God, I'm such a terrible person. You keep it to yourself, you internalize it. It's not your problem. This is a societal problem. It needs to be addressed on a higher level in order for real change to happen. It's got to start with people committing to do the right thing and not just trying to operate in a spirit of lack and fear. So you feel like you got to step on somebody else to get to whatever. No, we are not in competition with each other. This is a collaboration. Everybody here is unique and have a place. Everybody's got their own role. And it brings me to my next point, that before I started like really opening up with this, I started like studying, like I need to study the greats. I love that. I love inspiration. But it's a fine line between me being inspired by something and me comparing myself to it. That no longer serves me either. That doesn't serve me anymore. We all contribute so much value just because of who we are at our core. There's enough for everybody. There's enough everything for everybody. Love, peace, happiness. But we get none of that if we can't get over our human ills. Like, we gotta heal. Straight up. Straight up. We have to heal. Period. So, like I said, whoever was meant to hear this message will definitely receive it. Again, I just want to be completely grateful for this experience. I want to be grateful for sharing it. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for every experience I ever had. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. I've grown from it. And it really helped bring me to a place where I understand my purpose. And that's all I've been asking for. What am I here for? Why am I here? Why am I here? 100,000 times. and to finally feel like I understand. Like there's only 2 days, the most important days of your life. I want to quote that, but I'm not because I don't know who to credit it to. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm living in that period right now, and I'm ready to go, and I'm ready for us all to go because we can. So again, sending out love and peace. Thank you for watching. I tried to do that last time. I got cut off. I was like, I didn't say thank you. Thank you very much for watching and for being in this experience with me. And I just figured I'd change up the scenery today. This is my art, part of my art gallery. This is what I did when I first started deciding that I wanted to paint, because I was totally judging myself like I can't paint. Yes, I can. If I pick the brush up and I put paint on the brush, then something's going to happen. I don't know what. And this is the other one. Ta-da. Yep, so I am a woman of many talents. Okay, what can I say? Well, again, thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope that you all have the best day of your lives today.